Hello, everybody. I'm sorry about that, but all of a sudden I realized, and when my one little remaining kidney speaks, I listen, and all of a sudden I realized I'm not going to be able to go 2 hours without running to the bathroom. And just because I share everything with y'all, I don't have a bathroom down here. I just have a laundry sink, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But I apologize for running late, but it was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to make it 2 hours. Sometimes if I'm down here and I'm working very hard, I'll go out behind a big bush outside, but they don't have enough leaves yet. So, yes, I tried to look like spring. Yesterday would have been my father's 86th birthday. He passed away in 2010. So it's always nice to think of him on the first day of spring. But the good news is I now have my grandson Russell, who was born on his birthday. And so it's to celebrate it for two reasons. So, oh yes. In fact, I got to tell you, when Mark and I were dating almost 17 years ago, and we had to travel across country because my house sold, and so he lived in Texas, and we were driving back to Maryland, and there was a stretch of road. We were out in the boonies, and I said, just pull over by this abandoned building. And, and I showed no shyness about hopping out and going behind a bush. He said, and that impressed him. So, when you're dating second time around, you're almost 50 years old. You're like, hey, wait a minute. I don't stand on ceremony. I don't have time to worry about that. So hello, everybody. And I must say, I'm thrilled to see a certain person back here with us, Miss Susan Smith. It just hasn't been the same without her. But I'm so tickled that she's getting her dream farm. And so I'm like giving her all the space she needed so that she can get the house ready to sell, get her land ready. Oh, I'm so tickled. But, Buff Orpingtons. Now I'm going to warn you, Miss Susan. The only rooster that I ever had who was mean as sin was a Buff Orpington. I'm not saying all of them, but he ended up in a stew pot because when we first got our little farm, he attacked Christopher, who was 5 years old at the time. And I remember one time going to get up into the van, he got my legs under the door. So I said, oh, that's wonderful, Susan. That makes selling your house so easy. Yay, good job. But anyway, Buff Orpingtons are really beautiful. Just be a little bit careful. There you go. You try to handle them a lot when they're young. But you know what? You know that quilt that I did that has the rooster on it, and it's a black and white polka dotty kind of rooster. I've forgotten what the breed is right now, but he was lovely until his hormones kicked in extra good. And when he chased Mark around the house one day, he went to the great stew pot in the sky too. So, Miss Nikki is here. Yay. Oh, good job. Love them good. And then whisper in their ear, if you ever attack me, I'm going to have you for dinner. Plymouth Rocks. Thank you. Nadine, thank you so much. Thank you. I love that y'all know this stuff because sometimes the brain just whoop. But let's see all who's here. Looks like we've got a pretty good crowd early on. And happy spring, happy National Quilting Day, which was yesterday. But I'm going to do what Alex Anderson did and say, Happy National Quilting Weekend. Yay. So anyway, I'm eating a grape. I tested my blood sugar. It's good, and I'm hungry. I'm eating a grape. But I've got the best news to tell you. Are you ready? Yesterday, I had heard Friday night that the health department had 230 vaccinations available. They said tomorrow at 2 p.m., you can request one of those vaccinations. So I was busy cleaning the house, running around, and Mark said, oh, it's a couple minutes to 2. Oh, I meant to get on there sooner and have all my information loaded, so I was ready to key it in. You know, I've got some practice from the old eBay days, you know. But by the time we got our information entered in, boom, they were gone. I mean, 3 minutes after 2 o'clock, boom. Well, we have an appointment through our medical facility that we go to here, but that's not until April 19th. That's a month away. And then you have to get 2 shots. So, you know, we're talking about well into May, middle of May, before we can be feel safe. So then I was really sad, really upset, because every day, my first job has been track down a vaccine. And I go online and I look for them, and by the time I get in there, they're gone. My daughter said, well, Mom, have you checked all of the Walgreens in your area? And I said, oh, I check them every day, and they never have any shots. But when she said that, being a good mom, I listened to my smart kids. I said, I got up from my sewing machine. I went and got on the computer and typed it in. Oh, my God. The green vaccinations available popped up. So I went and screamed, Mark, come here. And we got on the computer, and he had a chance to see just how frustrating it is to try to sit there and type in, because he had to be there both times, in the morning when we tried to do the health department one, and now to do the Walgreens. And I said, now do you understand why it would get to me? And you were like, oh, why are you so upset? Oh, he was like, put it down. Girl, I'm going to walk away. I said, nope, come back, sit down. You have to do this. This is our lives we're talking about. So the good news is we both filled out all of our information, and we're getting our shots Tuesday morning. I can't believe it. So I am so ready to get my shot. Let me tell you something. I have been so afraid that if I got the COVID, I would be gone. And I have too many comorbidities, and I can't take the chance. And so I'm so happy. We've got shots one I'm getting Tuesday, and then shot 2 I'm getting in April, the time I would have gotten my first shot. So, yeah, that's exactly, Pat. I was on the computer like every day. I got to the point where I would get so tense, and the other day I was just losing it. It's so frustrating to try to figure out. Each site wants you to fill something out, and you get these questions, and you're just like, how do I answer this? I'm not sure, you know. Little things like it said, what is your race? I clicked white. And then it said, what is your ethnicity? Well, I looked, and the only thing I could think of I said non-Hispanic. But it's like that, I mean, I already said it's confusing. So some of these questions, and so many of the websites are written by people who are in the business, and they forget that 64-year-old women don't know what they're already supposed to do. And can you help kind of just ease us through it? So I, 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 I gotta admit, after I had the appointment, we got the confirmation. I sat there and cried because I didn't realize how much it had been affecting me to be afraid to leave the house, to go anywhere, to do anything, and to know that we're so close to being afraid, to not having to be afraid anymore. I'm just this much closer to getting to hug my grandbabies and to meet my grandson Donnie, who I've yet to meet, and he's 7 months old. So I'm so excited. And I wanted to talk to all of you. Oh, you just got a second. Okay. Oh, April 14th, hip surgery. Honey, I know it's not going to be an easy surgery, but do the surgery, do all of the physical therapy afterwards, and it will be such a blessing for you. But, well, that's the thing is, it takes until 2 weeks after your second shot for you to be fully protected. But the thing is, I'm going to be so glad that I don't have to be afraid of dying. Twice this year, my mortality has stared me in the face. Once with my kidney cancer and then with COVID. I'm ready to just be able to take a deep breath and enjoy life. And I'm going to say one little thing. Don't get mad at me, but I've been thinking about this. If you love your family, if you love this country, if you love your neighbors, and if you believe in the golden rule of do unto others as you would have them do unto you, please get the vaccination. If you're at all medically able to, get the vaccination. It's the only way that we can stop our wonderful people from dying. Okay? We've lost such a huge amount of knowledge, history, wisdom, because so many of the people we've lost were our grandmothers, our great aunts, and some young and very talented people also. So please, 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 if you love, if you believe at all in the golden rule, if you believe at all in any power, do what's right and get your vaccination. And then we'll party. So I just wanted to, this has been such an exciting week. Yesterday, I got to do a Zoom with my grandson and got to watch him open the gifts that we sent. He just turned 2, little Russell. He was sitting there on a, like, it looked like it wasn't much bigger than a cell phone. And he was doing an electronic puzzle. And they were like 4 and 6 piece puzzles. And he could do it. It was amazing. So anyway, okay. Now, I got a special package in the mail. I got an envelope. And it was from Arkansas. Yes, it was a little sweet gift from my dear Bonnie. Look at this beautiful spring card. And she wrote Happy Easter in it. And guess what she sent me? Is this the cutest? Is this just the cutest? I love these stickers. And they're all 3D stickers. So thank you, Miss Bonnie. She always is so thoughtful. She just will just send a little something just to kind of let me know. So that's why Bonnie has family, because we all consider ourselves part of her family. But that's why she has family all over the place. So thank you, Miss Bonnie. I treasure that. Thank you for the surprise. That was very, very nice. And of course, I'm going to take the card because it's so beautiful. And after Easter, I'm going to turn the card into paper beads. So I'll always have a reminder of her kindness. So thank you. Thank you, Miss Bonnie. So let's see. Today's Sunday, March 21st. So last night I'm doing the Zoom with my grandson. And my son and his wife said, "Oh, you'll be fully vaccinated." I said, "Yeah, I'll be all protected by the first week of May." They said, "Wonderful, because we were going to ask you, could you come up in May for about a week and help us with the kids? Her mom and dad will be out of town and they could use help with the kids." Now, my first response was, yes, that would be so exciting to spend time with the kids. And then I went, oh no, those kids are 24 months and 7 months. So I told Mark, I really need to start exercising now because I can't keep up with little tiny ones. So Mark said, you better exercise, because just carrying those 30, the 2-year-old's like 30 pounds. Oh my gosh. And just keeping up with them. And are you ready? Are you ready for this? They came in the room the other day to check on Donnie. He's the 7-month-old. The day he turned 7 months old. They went into his bedroom because he was supposed to be taking a nap. They found him standing in the crib. Yep. The first thing they did was drop that crib down. But hello, he is in a hurry to keep up with Big Brother. So, that's a great idea. I'll get some of those hand weights and start working, because I said, and I'm going to have to be on the floor, getting up and down off the floor. I have got to get in shape. Oh, honey, I will have my hands so full. I tell you what, the little one can be fussy. I might be there crying right along with him. But I will take my camera, and as long as it's okay with his mom and dad, I'll give you some good little footage of how they're doing. So, all right. I've told you about my vaccination appointment Tuesday. I figured I'll take some Tylenol. Your arm gets a little sore for a day or two, but then you're fine. And oh my God, I'm so excited. Then, and Mark and I, we both got our appointments, one at 10:30 and one at 10:45. Thank you, Walgreens. So I'm so excited. Oh, that's something, Pat. Yes. I got to chat with them for over a half an hour last night, but I realized, I need to get some pictures of him because he's really starting to look like a little boy now. So, and I was able to say, Russell, how do you say more? And he went, because more in sign language is like, you want more? So he went like that. And then he spoke some words, and he throws kisses, and he says hi, and all of that. And then Donnie did some baby talk. So I baby talked back to him, and he looked at me. And, but Donnie's the one that on the Zoom, he looks right at my face in the Zoom thing. And it's like, oh, good. He'll know who I am, Russell's like too big, he's like, I got things to do, places to go, people to see. But Donnie right now is really fascinated with humans. So that'll be fun. All right. Now get ready and show you first. Oh, let me see who's here first. Yeah, are you ready for this? I don't, because standing at 7 months for a boy is phenomenal. My second daughter, Katie, she was very precocious. I had her in her stroller. I did not have her strapped in. I went around the side of the yard to get some more pine straw, came around with an armful of pine straw. She was standing up in her stroller at 5.5 months old. Scared me to death. And so, yeah, that, and then to have him standing at 7 months for a boy, he'll probably be walking before 11 months old. So he's something else. But like I told his parents, he wants to do what older brother does. He sees older brother, and that's his inspiration. So, oh no, yeah, it's going to, honey, it's gonna be tough to be babysitting because one of the things about living so far away from two of my three sets of grandchildren is, I never had to do much of that. And then my other daughter was home most of the time, so I'd have them every couple months just for fun overnight or for a couple nights. So it'll be interesting. But anyway, let's see all who's here. We've got Laura. Oh, it is so nice to see so many people. Marcia. Hi, Marcia. Today I was editing the photos really quickly and I accidentally hit delete on your folder, Marcia, and I went, oh no, I had to rush into recycle and pull it back out because I said, I can't lose Marcia. But Nikki and Jody, oh, Kathleen Ziegler, so good to see Jody. I can't wait to see. I know Jody's working on something new. So as soon as she sends photos in, I will show you. Sonia's here, my dear, dear Sonia. Kathleen Ziegler. And so good to see. I miss Nikki and Susan so much. Let's see. Laura Rylander. I love seeing that name. Love it, Laura. And Linda McCollum. She is another moderator. Love seeing her, and she's so talented. Linda McCollum is a true artist in a wide variety of media. So I'm just amazed. I learned so much from her. So I feel like she's our mentor to all of us in here. So Kathleen Ziegler, Linda McCullum, Susan Smith, looking. Nadine, love our Nadine. And we're, as of still this week, we're an hour earlier for her. So that's nice. Oh, it is so good to see all of you. All right. I think I'm trying to go through quickly. My eyes are a little blurry. Last night I fell asleep watching, and don't do this. This is a cautionary tale. I fell asleep watching my tablet, watching Alex Anderson because I haven't been watching her lately, and I just kind of I'm sorry. Okay. I was trying to look at names and talk, and guess what? The brain, you know how your computer freezes? Well, my brain just did that. It said, you're trying to do too much at one time. Slow down. So, but anyway, I hope I didn't miss anybody. Pat is here. And oh, that's right, Pat. If you get a steroid injection, yeah, you have to be careful. So, and I know I still have to wear masks to protect other people. So I will make sure to do that. I'm hoping Mary Zare is there. Oops, I got a text. Let me make sure it's not Susan telling me, Deb, what did you do? Oh, good. It was one of my daughters. Just want to make sure because Susan keeps me straight. But anyway, okay. So I fell asleep in bed. I have a new thing that hooks on my headboard and holds the tablet because I just have a small tablet. And I was watching Alex Anderson and I wanted to turn on my right. Well, it doesn't reach as far to the right. So it was kind of close to my face. I woke up a couple hours later and it's right in my face and it's still going. And I'm thinking, bet you that wasn't so good for my eyes, because it was right there. And sure enough, my eye, this eye is a little fuzzy today. So do me a favor. If you have one of those things that holds your tablet, keep it away from your face, okay? especially if you're going to fall asleep, because it was like, I can't open my eye. And yeah, it's a little fuzzy. But anyway, I'm in a good mood today. The sun is out. I forgot. I wanted to go pick a big armful of daffodils to show you because they're finally blooming outside. And I'm seeing the bushes, little signs of life coming back. It's like, and that's another reason I need to get in shape because I got to start gardening. I have got lots of garden work to do. Oh, yes. And Kiwi was with us last week, but she bit my ear twice. So, but anyway, all right. So now what I'm going to do first to show you is I was hoping to have a finished Bargello this week, but I only have progress. And since I have a little bit more left of the material, I'm going to keep going until all of the pieces are used up. So there you go. And as you see, I've kind of started varying it just a little more. But you know what? I really like the colors I chose, and having that definite dark and the light really help your eye track the motion going. But I was going to show you, I have this much of the strip set left. And you know what? I don't want to waste that, so I'm going to keep going. Now, one other thing. I would like you to give me some advice. Oh, the crocuses, yes. I want you to give me advice. Let me hold the strip sets as to what fabric I should use to bind this. Because remember, this is a quilt as you go. Soon as I sew on the last piece, it's going to be ready to be bound. So I like that, making a Bargello quilt as you go. And it's so easy. You see here, I've got the batting and the backing. And as I sew each new piece on, it quilts it at the same time. So I'm going to show you the fabrics again. I would like to I thought about using this Jenny Beyer floral here. The only thing I'm worried about is it going to be too busy when there's already such busyness going on. So what do y'all think? Green, blue. Yeah, so you agree with me. Maybe one of the greens or blues that looks more solid, that reads as solid. And I first thought, oh, well, the black. No, that's not. It's supposed to be a springtime. So something green, that's the least of the color. It'll pop out just a little bit. Okay. An even bright. Oh, that's a good idea, Nadine. Oh, the tulips, rabbit food. That's so cute, Mary's there. All right. The backing, the backing is subtle. It is like a marbleized, and I didn't really want that. It's not as nice a fabric as I'd like, and I usually don't care because the back doesn't get to be seen. So, okay, thank you. Hopefully by next week, it'll be fully done because I want to see it laying on one of my tables. But it just reminded me, Bargellos are a lot of fun. Oh, you think the larger print will pull it together? That, you know what? It will pull all the colors together, wouldn't it? All right, so you know what to do? I'm going to take your advice. I'm going to get the fabrics and I'm going to lay them under it. And then that'll be my final decision maker. But I appreciate one thing I love having this group because since we can't get out yet to do quilt groups or bees or guilds, we can still be together and share. And it means a lot. You like a contrast? Oh, wow. Well, Nadine is my earth girl. I think from just what I know, I've been observing of Nadine this last couple years, Nadine gets her energy from Mother Earth and from things around her. And if you'll notice, Nadine's quilts are rich in earth tones and colors. And so I like that. I like that. Nadine has her feet very rooted in the earth. So that's nice. All right. Now I've got some exciting things to show you. Oh, good, good. Well, I get I recognize a soul sister. I'm not a religious person. It's never worked for me. But you send me to my favorite lake, you get me out in nature, and my spirit soars. So I recognize a fellow uh, earth spirit. So, okay. Now, let me show you a couple things. I've been so focused on, when I had to actually admit I had 64 at least UFOs, then that's a wake-up call. So I wanted to show you, I've been working on this because the quilt that belongs to this, the top is already pieced. It's a beautiful binding tool star. It's ready to go. It just needs the border. So I've been working hard getting the applique. Now this is a border I designed myself. I looked around and tried to find some applique flowers that look happy. And I love the idea of doing the gradated colors. So you go from dark to light. Now I haven't pressed this, so it's a little messy, but I think I've gotten all my leaves done. I've got this blue flower left to do. And I think that's it. And this stays by my chair at night. And so this one's so close to being ready. One flower and that's done. Now what I want to do is show you, how do I do these? Like I said, I designed the border from pictures I saw. You know me, I love going around the internet and finding ideas. And this design, these flowers are a little bit of a modern touch on an old sampler, an older style, colonial flower style. So what I do is the stem, the winding vine, was put on with fusible, and then I will come back and stitch it, do an applique invisible stitch to stitch it down. I do that before I do any of the flowers or any of the leaves, because you work from the back to the front. But then what I do is I take the piece of border where I've got a nice table space, and I decide where I want the flowers, and I glue them in place. Now, when I say glue, I don't glue where I'm going to do the hand, because I do hand applique most of the time. So I put a drop of glue in the middle, because if you put it near the edge, you're going to have a mess of a time getting that needle through. Oh, yes, good question. And hello, Miss Michelle. Yes, how is Susan's mother-in-law doing? Oh, and there was one thing I want to tell you. People that have got the vaccination who've already had COVID, they're saying that the people who are having lasting problems from COVID, the vaccination takes it away. So, another good reason. All right, she's doing much better. Oh, good. That was sweet of me. Michelle, I love Michelle, guys. She's the whole reason we're doing this. I missed her terribly. But what I do is I take all the different pieces, the leaves, the flower petals, and put a spot of glue in the middle of them. You notice that they're all floppy around the edges because you don't want any glue right around the edges. I do needle turn. So even the leaves, they're just glued on in the middle and the edges are loose. And now this one, I pre-glued the flower so I could put it on as one unit. And that was kind of nice to do. But anyway, so I get a long table. I glue all like these little dots. I glue, you see the glue right there in the middle. And I glue everything in place. See the edge lifting up. I glue everything in place. Then I just keep it folded up and beside my chair for nighttime. And as soon as I finish this one, I pull out that one. Another thing I do, because I don't know about you, but sometimes I have to play games with myself to keep myself motivated. I just got a brand new pack of applique needles, different things. But I got a new pack of applique needles. And so I take, like, let's say I'm working on the blue flower and the leaves. I will take 2 needles and thread them with a lighter green, a darker green. Then 2 more needles, lighter blue, darker blue. And I go ahead and wax them or put on thread heaven type silicone. I knot them and I stick them in the arm of my chair. And the reason I do that is because if the needle's already threaded, knotted, and ready to go, it makes stitching so much more fun. And it's making it easy in a way. So I like that. Michelle got her second shot. Oh, just very tired. Yes, in fact, I was listening to Ricky Timms was talking with Alex Anderson, and he stayed in bed the day after his second shot. It made him just feel really tired. But hey, I'll take tired over COVID any day. All right. So anyway, I wanted to show you what I'm working on at night because I'm really committed to this thing of getting my UFOs done. When it dawned on me that people will feel love when they can hold the item I'm making for them, they're not feeling that love when it sits here in a container in a plastic bag. So it makes sense. All right. Plus, the sooner I get some of this done, the sooner I can buy more fabric. And that's always nice. All right. I just wanted to show you my cow again. Not just because I'm bragging, although I do love him or her, but I did all of the invisible stitching. You'll see the holes in it. You might see a little shine, but I did all the invisible stitching on about 2/3 of it. And you can tell the difference. You can see right there how it's all like flippity doodle, where on this side, it's all neatly stitched down. And once I finish with this part, then I'm going to put it on my frame and I'm going to quilt it within an inch of its life. I'm so excited about quilting it. And then I'll get it ready to take to my daughter because I'm going to be going up that way in May. So anyway, but I just thought I'd show you here. You can see on the back. I'm hoping you can, well, you might not be able to see, but all the stitches, the zigzag stitches. So what I did is it uses a lot of bobbin thread. I loaded a bunch of gray. You want to use neutral bobbin thread. So I loaded a bunch of Coats and Clark's gray thread. I did about 4 bobbins. And then I got my clear. This time I used the Superior Threads monopoly. And I just went to town. And I find that the monopoly doesn't like it when I back up. So I try to mostly go from the top of the cowl all the way down. And I just kind of glance ahead and know which way to go to find an edge that needs to be tacked down. And I also thought I'd tell you that I had to put in another Amazon order the other day. I needed some more vitamin B12 pills, and I ordered another spool of Superior Threads monopoly, because I'm going through that thing. Between all of the landscape quilts and this, I'm going through that thread. So I'm excited about that. And so anyway, it's well on the way. 2/3 of it is all tacked down. When I finish the other third, I'm going to load it on the frame, and I can't wait to quilt it. All right. I've got to tell you, I haven't been doing much long arm quilting lately. And the last 2 days, I finished that one. I love quilting. And since now my tension problem is no longer a problem, I love it. And I think I'm getting to the stage where I'm pretty good. I hate to say that out loud. It might jinx it. But this quilt I made for Halloween a couple years ago. And it was one of my UFOs. And I'm so glad. So very, very happy. Hold on. Let me turn it around. Turn it around. Okay. And you can see my bats here, and I'll show you the quilting up close. The way I did, I used a polyester to really give it some lift. So it kind of makes a bullseye shape with these, I guess they're supposed to be spider webs. But anyway, I quilted this with purple thread. What fun that was. I thought about using black, but you know what? Every time, unless I am quilting a black background quilt, black looks dirty on a quilt. So I used, when I trim my quilts while they're on the frame, while I'm taking them off, because that's the best way to get a nice, sharp edge when you're quilting. I mean, when you're cutting it off. So let me pull you closer and I'll show you some of my quilting. All right. Here is a pumpkin right here, jack-o'-lantern. And you see his little stem, and there he is. Here are, let me find a ghost that's standing upright. There's a little ghost. Then these are supposed to be scary trees right here. So the bare branches down to the root. Whoops, this way, root. Then all of a sudden I realized I had these bats. And I thought, what in the heck will I do? So I pulled down my little book that I keep by my frame. And I said, okay, I will do like clamshells, and then this, I just did pretty little, what are they called? Kind of like a paisley thing. But then in my I had these big triangles. I said, I will do a bat. And it even has a little face. So all of my triangles have a big bat. So I had such fun and got this done pretty quickly. Let me show you the back. I went ahead and just used gray thread on the back. And don't worry, if you see some areas where it looks thick, that's just like the eyes and the mouth on each of the ghost. But now you can kind of see the quilting pattern a little more. But I had such fun. And then I was able to get out my UFO book. And once I got out my UFO book, I was able to check off another block. So it's so funny, after spending 2 days, parts of 2 days on this, all I got to do was just check off one little block. But at least I'm on my way. So, and now I have to bind it, and then I can totally check it off the list. So I'm looking forward to that. All right. I can't wait to show you this. All right. One more thing. Uh-oh. I lost the chat. Oh, man. Can anybody? Oh, there we are. Okay. All right. Are you still there? Kathleen, thank you. You're right. It's one more little block that I could check than before. Can you still see me? Because for a moment I lost your chat. Anybody say hi? Oh, yay! Okay. Woo! It scared me. I thought, I don't want to lose them. I'm having so much fun. So, hello. And Vicki Lemire's here? Hello. Okay. Here is the progress on our Thursday night quilt landscape. And you might say, well, it doesn't look all that different, but it is. And I'm taking this one nice and slow because I want to really show everyone every step of the way. And that's something we can do because if you watch like a national show, they have to put so much into a little bit of time. So we just take our time. So on here, I've done all of my stitching down. Then I've now started the thread painting, which is where I delineate everything. And I'm so tickled with my cabin. That's a log cabin, and I'm so tickled. And then my tree, and I thinned down the trunk so it looked like it. But look at see where I stitched the grass in front of the log cabin? So now it looks like it's sitting, like you can see a field full of wildflowers in front of it, partially hiding it. And it makes it look like it really fits. All right, Cheryl, take good care. It was so good seeing you, sweetie. So anyway, and then over here, I've started doing the thread painting to kind of delineate here. I've done my clouds, and then I'm trying to do the thread painting on the mountains. And I don't know if you can see it, but I did use some metallics on the water and the waterfall. So it's getting there. And after this stage, once I finish doing all of the basic thread painting, then we're going to start with the hand embroidery of all kinds of wildflowers. And that should really make it special. That's what's going to make this quilt stand out from the others we've done. Oh, Angela Adele is here. That's wonderful. Okay, everybody. Now for the fun. I've got so much more to still show you. I better hurry up. I don't want to miss being able to show you all the UFOs, but goodness gracious. And I got an order in from Joanne Fabrics that I'll show you. And then, I don't know if I showed the group last week. I know I showed Thursday night. But I got an order in. I talked to Mark and said, Mark, I saw some fabric I'd really, really like. And I got it. And it was from Missouri Star Quilt. And the what made this so beautiful is it's got the teals and the teals orange to purple. And it has the bridge fabrics that pull them all together. Well, they had the strips on special, one of their daily specials. That's how I saw it. But I felt guilty and hemmed and hawed, and then they were sold out. So I looked everywhere, could not find this mix. It's Island Batiks, Curiosity, Island Batiks, and I could not find this combination anywhere. So when I was really grieving, I was like kicking myself, why didn't you just get it? And so all they had left were the charm packs. So I got 3 of them. And then I ordered the background because I'm really loving using non-white backgrounds. And I think this will be pretty. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it yet. But I learned my lesson. If you see it and you love it that much, get it. If you can afford it, okay? Get it. Don't get yourself in trouble. Because let me tell you, if I got everything I saw and went, ooh, that's pretty. No, this was something I really fell for. All right. And I just want to show you real quick. I've probably showed you these in the past. But these are threads I got when I went to the YLI thread factory. And they're a woven braid thread. And I don't know if they still carry these. You'd have to go to the YLI site to order them. But it's called Quilt Highlights, and it's hand dyed by a woman in the mountains of North Carolina. And here is the earth tones, and here is the brights. And the neatest thing about this thread is it's woven like a little tube. And when you use it, if you find one of the threads and pull it, look what it does. It ruches up. So when I make some of the wildflowers in that landscape quilt, look what I'm going to do. Isn't that cool? Now, these were a little expensive. They were $15 for the spool, but this is braided. It is hand dyed. And I was organic cotton by YLI Incorporated. Okay. I don't know if they still carry them, but if they do, it is a wonderful tool in your toolbox so that you can then create a whole different look. See that? Isn't that cool? So how easy would it be to make flowers and weeds and different things? Isn't that cool? Yeah, I especially thought you'd like the earth tones of that. All right. So then I put in an order from Joann's, and I did the curbside pickup, and this was like, I don't know, $2. And I love it because I'm going to go back and finish those journals, and I thought this was a great decoration to put on the journals. I didn't get much because, I'm trying to be on a budget, but this was on sale so cheap. So I got 4 yards of this. And this is a matte tool, and I use it in my landscape quilting. So really great. And I love the gray because a white will stand out. A gray will just blend into the background it's put on. But see that? I mean, a white would stand out, but a gray disappears. So I wanted to get some of that. Then I went on eBay, Amazon. This was from Amazon. I found these. I'll show you how this works next week. But I saw this on one of the shows. Might have been Alex Anderson's The Quilt Show. And these, you make bias strips. You can make binding. All of that with these. And so I'm going to show you how this works. Now, being cheap, I went and found a knockoff type, and I've noticed that if you're not careful, you will melt it with your iron. But as long as you use it like you're supposed to, you're fine. But I got this, and it came with a key ring to keep it hanging on, and a set of what I'm sure are cheap pins, but for $6.99. So I'll show you that next week. Because I got to be honest with you. Let me see if I can find it real quick. What is the other kind? The other kind of tape maker, I can't see it right now. But the other kind of tape maker that is like metal and you try to run it through and then iron it, they were hard for me to use. So, but anyway, I wanted to show you when I got that Missouri Star Quilt order in. Missouri Star Quilt, they put a nice note in there. And I got to tell you, it's a sweet thing. You open the box and there it is. And it kind of makes you feel good that day, let me tell you. So I like that company. And Michelle turned me on to that company. Yeah, the Clover ones. You're right, Susan. I just can't figure out. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking some warm water and I'm going to pour it in this. Well, I think I'm going to pour it. Let me try. Come on. Well, I know a way I can do it a whole lot faster. Ha ha ha. So I'm going to pour this water in the bowl because I've got something fun to show you. Oh, yeah, it works every time. All right. So warm water in the bowl. Now, okay. Bunch of paper towels. Yay. All right. Bunch of paper towels. Remember I told you that I would have, whoops, let me back this up. Remember I told you that I would have the butterfly done this week. Well, he is done. So here is my butterfly. And I wish you could see, but there is metallic thread in there. And you'll just have to trust me. Let me see. Maybe if I bring this light over. Okay, let's see if you can. You know, it didn't show up last time either. My camera is not wanting to pick up the metallic. So, poo. But anyway, but just trust me. It's the gilding of the lily. I put metallic thread in. And you can also use Angelina and all of that. One thing to notice about this is when you get it off, try to pull it and stretch it a little bit. The thread painting that goes into making this tends to want to draw them up. So when you design your butterflies, maybe make them a little wider so that when they draw up, they'll be perfect. But Mark pointed that out. He said, well, it doesn't look as butterfly shaped like as it did before. But there's the bottom of the little wings. And believe it or not, here's his little antennae. And here he is. So, there is a lot of thread in this. I don't know if you can tell. I mean, it's thick and heavy. It uses a lot of thread, but you can make whatever color butterfly you want. And when we get ready to do pictures in just a couple minutes, you'll get to see the inspiration photo that I used to make this. So now I'm going to bring the camera down because we're going to start the fun. I'm going to show you. Remember when I was working on this, if I had a cut or a tear, because you're doing so many stitches, sometimes it cuts the soluble stabilizer, then I just took and cut scraps and licked the edge and stuck it on, or wet my finger and wet the edge and stuck it on. And it worked great. What I would recommend, I think I'm going to do next time, is go ahead and start with 2 layers thick. So that way, because I'm rough on it, boy, when I do the stitches. I'm yanking it back and forth, and it's in a little hoop. So once you're done, then you get your sharp scissors, you come in here, and I said sharp scissors, and they're kind of making me look bad here, and you just cut carefully along the edge. And it's okay if a little bit of it hangs out, but you nip off any extra threads, and you just carefully come and cut it out. You do not want to cut off your border threads because they're holding everything together. And remember, I started off by stitching the border, and then I used black and did an all over zigzag, making sure that everything was connected to everything else. If I just did separate spaces and didn't connect, I made a web is what I did. I made a web all over the soluble, and that way it will hold together once the soluble's rinsed away. And the little antennae, they're tough to do. I got to be honest. And this one ripped away from the soluble early on. So that's why it's probably best to use 2 layers of the water-soluble stabilizer. So now, where my technique is a little different from some people you might see is I take my warm bowl of water and I dip in the butterfly, okay, and I let him kind of soak in. And then I gently start rinsing off the soluble, okay? Now, I only rinse off about half of the water soluble, and I'll tell you why. I'm not even going to touch the antenna. I'm not even going to touch these because I don't want to rinse it all out. If I leave part of it in, then I can shape the butterfly. You can see a little bit of that sparkly, can't you? All right, I think I have rinsed enough off. And I use warm water because I think it just works faster. But read your directions on whatever your water-soluble stabilizer says. And I want to then I take and put my butterfly on a paper towel, let some of the water be absorbed. Now is a good time to come back in and stretch it to try where it drew up, to try to get it to pull back in to a butterfly shape. Okay? And just leave these little things out here. Leave the tail laying down. And I'm going to put another paper towel over it. I'm going to let this rest for a moment because I want to show you the butterflies that I did some years ago. And I just did that. I learned to do this kind of, I was self-taught. Now here I left a little bit more in the antennae, and I like that better. And then here is a monarch butterfly that I did. This was a lot harder to do than the one I did today because you have all these little dots around it. But I did this one too. Let me see. Then my last one is a blue swallowtail here. And his little antenna, I think I need to stiffen those a little more. But it really adds something nice to the quilt, because then you have a 3D butterfly. See how it's sitting up on the edge? And especially if you're doing a 3D quilt, I think it gives a very nice effect. So, and that's why I wanted to show you how to do that. So now let's dip back down. Oh, yes, monarchs I think are my favorite. I love growing butterfly weed or asclepias because it's their favorite. It's a type of milkweed and they love it. And so I'm just carefully patting it dry. This one, let me show you. It is kind of like a lightweight vinyl, I would say. Now, I did end up finding this paper. I thought it was the Solvay, but it may be the Pellon. So I'm not sure. It may be the Pellon water-soluble film. I thought it was Solvay. Let me see, because I bought this used, and I do have some of, yeah, I think this one might have been the Solvay. Super Solvay. And the thing I would recommend is use the thickest water-soluble solvable film that you can find, because I like it. It's easier to work with when it's thick. And then, whoops, all this is getting messy. I have a roll of it in here. Let's see. So now this one is more slick. This one, what's in the Super Solvay, I like better because it's kind of grippable. But so I think that the roll is Pellon and the other is Super Solvay. But I bought these from a kind of an estate sale, so I didn't get any information with it. Okay, so now I think, let me get to a fresher area of this. And I'll do just a little bit more patting and patting. Oh, yeah. Yeah, get a nice sturdy Solvay. Okay, see, that's the back. And here is the front. Now, what I'm going to do to help make the antennae a little stiffer is I'm going to get some glue and I'm going to coat them with a glue that will turn invisible once it's dry. See this? And as long as it dries relatively straight, that will keep it stiffer. Then the little tail bits down here, I'm going to do the same thing to those because I want them to stay in a pretty configuration. And I'll make sure that the glue is not showing, even if I have to rub a little bit off. All right. Whoops. My glue is dripping out. And you know I'm cheap, so I'm going to get it back up and put it back in the bottle. Yes, she is that cheap. Yes, she is. So, all right. But that, if you just wanted to know how you can make something stiffer, considering a good glue and then lay it just like you want it, the shape you want it to stiffen into. Now, the other thing I do is I find something like maybe some spools of thread, because the butterfly, okay, he's pretty cool like this, but I think he'd be cooler if he looked like, not a problem. I will be glad to show you. Okay, let me grab this. Okay, I'll show you what I did. Thank you for asking the question. Pretend the hoop was bigger than this. And then I took a piece, and now I think in the future I'll do a double piece of the solvay, and I put it, let me see, I put it like in the frame. So this is the bottom that will go in the sewing machine, because I want it to lay flat to be moved around. Okay, so I got a hoop, I've got the solvay in the frame. Then I come in. This is important. Use a permanent pen to draw the design on. If you use a Crayola water-based marker, it will dissolve the solvay, the medium. So you have to use a permanent pen that's got chemicals, not water. And then you just come in and you say, okay, I want a butterfly. And so you make a butterfly and do a head and a body and antenna, and you do another wing. And then, so you draw the butterfly, and this is where you draw the dots, you draw the lines. I even put information, like I might say B for black, or I might do a Y here for yellow. But I draw on there to remind myself where to put what colors. But go ahead and draw all of the lines, the spots, everything that you want to have on that butterfly, okay? With a permanent pen so it doesn't melt it. Now, there you go. And so then do not have any water near where you're going to work. If you even, watch this, if you even drop water on it, see this water? It will immediately, look at that, it's dissolving, okay? And I had one that evidently got a few sprinkles on it, and the water created little holes everywhere it touched. So it's super, super sensitive to water. Now, that's why I keep mine in plastic bags, and I don't drink any water or any drink when I'm working on this. Everything is dry. Okay, so now, thank you for asking, because I love teaching. I mean, I hope y'all can tell I love it. I love sharing the magic of different things we can do. Now, this is okay like this, but, it is much cooler if it's doing this, if it looks like it's flying. So what I do is I find the middle and I give it a nice fold, okay? That way you know it, and see it's still a little bit sticky because I didn't wash all of the solvay out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up like this to dry. And I'll do the antenna and stuff later. But I'm going to set it up like on, just these threads are just helping me keep it in And you can do one wing down and one wing up, whatever you want to do, or both up and then have it bent. And the threads will keep it in that shape until it dries, okay? And then once it dries, then you can get your glue again and make sure the tail stays just right and make sure. Now, you could always do stitching over a very thin piece of metal so that you can, you know, keep your antennae and you can make them as expressive as you're making the rest of the butterfly. But do you see that? Do you see how that looks? To me, that's a lot more exciting than just seeing a flat butterfly. And I'm giving it personality and realism. So now I'll just set this over and let it dry. And when it's all dry, we'll have a pretty realistic looking butterfly. And so that's the difference in the way I do it. I do not rinse out all of the solvay. I leave at least half of it in. So you can't leave all of it in because then it'll just stay flat. But having it wet and half of the solvay or whatever soluble film you use, having half of that left in and having it wet, that's when you get to mold it and get just the look you want. Yep, and the butterfly comes alive. Now, you can do flowers that way. You could do a 3D flower, like a beautiful lily. You can do dragonflies. And if you want to keep the dragonfly's wings looking very clear, you could use a little vinyl, a very lightweight vinyl, or you can use invisible threads, whatever. You can use Angelina. But I started on a dragonfly. Let me see. What did I do? What did I do with my big bag? Oh, way back over here. Let me show you. I started to do a dragonfly before, and if I were to do it again, I would use some very sheer nettings or something like that. Use something very sheer, even more sheer than this, and to give it a little sparkle and do the little veining. So, but you can do dragonflies, you can do butterflies, you can do flowers. In fact, that'll probably be my next thing. But wouldn't it be beautiful to have some of those gorgeous lilies? And then you could figure out how to do your stamens and things, and you could create a very lifelike lily. Okay. You certainly could. It would be wonderful to start with the little caterpillar, then the pupa, and then the beautiful butterfly. So I like that. And I think we're ready to check photos out. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, you could make, especially if you were a teacher, you could do a whole thing on, whoops, my little butterfly. I kind of bumped him. I want to put him back in the right position. That's where the magic comes in, is how, picture how, and you can look up on the internet and find just the way you want to mold him. Then once it's dry, he's yours. So, all right, let's do our, okay, and hopefully everybody's still there. I think it was my computer that was the problem before. So with this new computer, did I just do something? Oh man, I hope not. Let me see if I can find you. Oh, don't. What did I do? Are you still there? Someone let me know if you're still there. Someone say hi. Aha! Yay! I reached across my computer and turned it off. Okay. Well, I might make beautiful butterflies, but I'm not always the sharpest knife in the drawer, okay? All right, we're going to start this afternoon with Miss B, who surprised us all by making her own thread-painted beautiful puppy. And I am impressed. Way to go, Miss B. Great job. Thread painting lines of the fur. So thank you so much, Miss B. That's beautiful. Beautiful. All right, let's see who we're going to go see. Miss Betty. Miss Betty, who's going to have hip surgery and hopefully be ready to go. Here is a beautiful nighttime scene with a bat in front of the moon. Look at the nighttime clouds illuminated by the reflection of the moon. And then the owls. I never thought of doing a nighttime scene with fabric, and that works beautifully. And here is her mountain meadow so far, and I really love it. She's got Angelina fibers that she used in the lake to give it some sparkle, and I love she even added an extra mountain back here, and she's the one that taught us take your fabric and cut it in slightly different angles to give your field a more realistic and undulating effect. So way to go, Miss Betty. We all learned from that. All right. Now, Miss Bonnie. Miss Bonnie has a new block she's been working on. In fact, I sure hope that everybody, whoops, come on, let's get it bigger here. I hope everybody had a good time at the Jitsi yesterday. Oh, I thought about it. I honestly did. But in trying to get the house clean and trying to get my vaccination appointment, the day went by so crazy. Oh, my gosh. But I thought of y'all. I thought there's no better way to spend National Quilting Day than to do a sit and sew. So I'm going to make sure that I come the very next time, if at all possible. And then here is Miss Bonnie's grandniece, who is cute as a button. Don't you just love it? She looks very loved indeed. Miss Bonnie's been working on pick back up her red work. Isn't that beautiful? I just love it. I need to ask her what kind of stitch she does. So to do that outline, but that is just lovely. So way to go, Miss Bonnie. And sometimes isn't it nice to sit there and relax? She used some of her money, some of her stimulus money, and put it right back in the economy by getting a glorious, glorious sewing chair. I love that. And I know she's going to get plenty of good use out of that. Way to go. Oops, there's more. Okay, look, here she's doing a row quilt. I think this is part of a block of the month, but she's doing a wonderful job on a row by row quilt. Very, very nice. And I love her colors. They're unique, a little different. Then she got back some of her quilts that she had sent to a long armor. And so it's nice to see some things that she has that are all the way done. I love that. And her choice of fabrics makes it look like it's water running down a hill. Here, she got this back from the long armor, and that is her COVID community quilt that we did a year ago, thinking we'd only be locked down for a few months. We had no idea a year later we'd still be sitting here. And I love seeing the quilt design that her long armor put on the block. Nice swirls. So that's really nice. Way to go, Miss Bonnie. All right. Now, she's at a a meeting of reenactors. And when I worked at the museum, we had reenactors, and I love those people. They were so much fun. Whoops, I might have messed up. Hold on. I don't know what's going on. Okay, let me see if I can get, okay, here we go. All right, here is my grand puppy growing. He was 20 pounds at 11 weeks. So I think he's going to be Marmaduke. Now, the reason I'm showing you my daughter, this is my oldest daughter getting her photo, is because last week my younger daughter got her vaccination. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to put my picture with my vaccination card next. We'll see. Here is the butterfly that I used as inspiration for my butterfly. Whoops, we'll put him back on his thread so he can dry. But this was my inspiration photo. And, okay. Then, let's see. Oh, I think I might have shown you this. This is my oldest daughter out for a walk at nearby Salem Lake. And her dog, Polly, the wonder dog, is absolutely loving being outdoors. And here is my grandson, Evan, with Polly, the wonder dog. Can't believe oh, I've got one more photo. Here is, look who's standing up on the day he turns 7 months old. Whoops, not that big. But he is the cutest little fella. That's Donnie Donato. And isn't he the cutest thing? And he's like, surprise, Donnie Donato. And isn't he the cutest thing? And he's like, surprise, bet you didn't know I could do this. The day he turned 7 months old, he decided to stand up and surprise them all. Isn't that something? What a boy. I can't wait. Hopefully in a little over a month, I'm going to get a month and a half, I get to finally meet him in person. That's my Donnie. All right, let's see who's next. Dolores. You know, I haven't seen Dolores in a while. I'll have to email her. And here is her amazing raccoon. Amazing raccoon. Scared me the first time I saw it. But I was like, oh, that's right. She did it. It's amazing. It's so realistic. So beautiful work. Her work is extraordinary. And then here is her lake quilt in progress. I'm hoping she's had some time to still work on it because I cannot wait to see when this one's finished. It's going to be wonderful. And I love when y'all take it and make it your own. So way to go. Way to go. All right, Miss Diana Wright. I love her penguin quilt. How very cute. Isn't that precious? Love it. Let's see what's next. She and Marty have been working on a brand new patio. They did a patio fire pit for their mega yard now to join the pool. So they worked so hard. I'm so excited they're going to have an amazing playground in their own yard. And so hard. I'm so excited they're going to have an amazing playground in their own yard. And she finished both of her quilts. I think this one's her miniature one. Whoops. And then I'm confused which one, but I know there's one that has applique on it. So we will find that one. That must be the bigger one. So, okay, let's see. So here are more photos of her patio fire pit being put in. And he had it priced out, and he didn't like the price they said, so he did it himself. Got to love that ingenuity and ability. He's a very capable human being, that's for sure. And here's the area left where they're going to put the fire pit. All right. Look at this. Isn't that wonderful? He's sitting there enjoying all that hard work. And that's going to be lovely in these evenings. And being in Texas, they are going to be able to really enjoy. Here is that wonderful fire pit with the special rocks around and the lining. And guess what? He made this himself. So let me show you. Here's the grid on top, and that's wonderful to keep sparks from getting away from them. And I have a feeling they can cook on that. But isn't that wonderful? So they have the nice pool now, and then you can jump out and throw some burgers on the grill. And it is just what a wonderful, wonderful backyard they've made. And in Texas, you need those kind of spaces because it is hot. There is the Winter Village quilt with her wonderful, wonderful way to go, Miss Diana. All right, let's see what else. Oh, this was without the lid that he made. Look at that wonderful swing. There's the pool. And they have wonderful neighbors' cows that come up to the fence behind them. So they're going to have a lot of fun out there. And then here's Mr. Marty working away on the top to that fire pit. Isn't that wonderful? That's a lot of work he did, but boy, he knows it's going to last. Way to go, Marty. I know they're going to enjoy it. All right. Now, Diane 57 sent a quilt that she worked on. And boy, is it a happy quilt. Look at that. Way to go. And I love how the stars appear to be floating. Isn't that great? So way to go, Miss Diane 57. Okay. I was glad to get a photo from her. And Miss Jody, I'm still waiting, but I think the problem is I'm waiting to see what she's working on next. But how in the world do you follow this? I mean, do you just say, hey, that's my magnum opus, drop the mic and leave the room? I wonder. This is a hard act to follow. I love that quilt. That is beautiful. Okay, at some point I've got to clear out her photo album, but I don't know if I ever want to clear that one out. Okay, now here is Miss Linda McCullum. Let's see what she's got. This is a combination of paper and fabric. At the burst that he cut out under. It's one of her favorite things to do. And isn't that beautiful? Such a talented woman. And I love she signs her work because you want a record that you did that. You were the artist who saw. Isn't that beautiful? So I think I want to find a way we can take a class from her. Look at the polymer clay shoes. Isn't that neat? So talented. And this is a piece of her jewelry. I love the gold leaf down under the glaze. That's beautiful. Then look at all of these bird stamps. Or maybe it was this under the glaze. That's beautiful. Then look at all of these bird stamps. Or maybe it was this that she loves doing. And she cut up all of her birds, and she makes what looks like little, what do you call them? They've been canceled stamps with all these bird things on them. Isn't that incredible? I love that. You know what? I wish I knew how little they are, but I think they're right small because if she used pinking shears, they would be very tiny. What a talented woman. Talented. And then I love these. Come on, picture. Look at these little sewn little pieces of art. Aren't they amazing? I love how she does this. I said, it'd be wonderful to have those because then anytime a friend comes to visit, you can give them a little artistic gift that you made with your own hands. So I tell you what, I think that Miss Linda McCollum is going to go right up there at the top of our group as our lead artist. That is just amazing. And now here is a landscape she did, and I loved how the fabric she chose looks like it's reflecting the land behind it. Absolutely beautiful. Way to go, Miss Linda. Okay, let's see who's next. Miss Marcia, who almost lost her folder. I was like, I've got to get Miss Marcia. Miss Marcia, I'm coming to save you. And I went back in that recycle bin and grabbed it. I love that crochet work. And here at Our Time to Quilt, we love all kinds of work. It doesn't matter what you do. If you make it, it's art. Isn't that a sweet green crocheted pouch? I love that. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Miss Nadine's. Now here is where you get to see Miss Nadine's love for earth and fabric. Isn't that beautiful? And did she do an excellent job of piecing that? I don't even know if she realizes how hard it is to get that many seams to match so well. Beautiful, beautiful work. Look at this. She did her strip sets and cut them at the angles. Beautiful. And here is the back of that pieced top. Isn't that amazing? Look at all those seams. That is gorgeous. A lot of work. Oh, I love this. She did some stars, and look at all those beautiful strip sets waiting to be pieced together. Doesn't that inspire you when you see that? Oh, it just makes you want to grab them and start sewing. All right, then here we go. We've got the spokes of the star put together. Just beautiful. And how by this time mine have started getting wonky, but hers look beautiful and straight. And if yours get wonky like mine do, then just mist with the spray bottle and iron them back to submission. Before, I've had to use a piece of cardboard cut to the exact right shape, and then I wet them, iron them, and make them go to that shape. I show them who's boss, but others don't need to be bullied, I can see. Look at this star go together. Isn't that beautiful? And I love the half stars going around. Here's a beautiful early morning. I tell you what, I was real tempted to pack up the house. I was moving to Germany when I saw that gorgeous picture. And then here is that quilt that she made. If that's a pen in the background, then these are very tiny. I'm even more impressed. Look at that. Wow. Beautiful work. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, that was the last for Miss Nadine. Now let's see. Who do we have? Patricia Fry. I left in the cutest little comment she put in. Because why do we ladies always feel like we have to tell every mistake we made on a quilt? Isn't that cute? I just love that. So let's see who's next. We've got Miss Pat done. Miss Polly, I'm hoping to hear that she had good luck with trying to minimize some of the holes that stitching with invisible thread left. But I love this. She did the coloring of her fabric. And that, how wonderful. I wonder if she did the stitching first and then the coloring, or the coloring and then followed the edges with stitching. But what a great exercise to do. I love it. Way to go, Miss Polly. Let's see now where we're going. Let us see. Susan Blake. Here we go. And I'm waiting to hear from Miss Susie. She's such a cutie pie. We miss her. And here are the lake scenes that she's working on. And then now you'll see why we miss her so much. Look at that sprightly face. I mean, she's just full of positive energy. And her beautiful, beautiful daughter. Beautiful. All righty. So we look forward to seeing, whoops, what happened? Hold on. We look forward to seeing Miss Susie back very soon because we miss her. I might have missed somebody, so let me come back up here and make sure Susie Blake, well, I think that was it. All right. So, I love showing your work. Please feel free to share pictures of your family, your work, things you love, your art, things that you love to do, because we all are inspired by things that matter to you. And we like sharing here because we are a community. We're not just about quilting. We're about community. So, okay, those were wonderful. I'm checking the progress of my butterfly. It's already starting to hold shape. And when it's fully done and dry, then I will make sure to stiffen the tail and especially that one little antenna. But isn't that cool? See how isn't that neat? So you too can make this. Because if I can do it, I know you can do it. Okay? So I'm going to set him back down and you have to let him, you have to prop him. You have to prop him to dry because if not, and then check it once in a while to make sure some of the things you can't prop, try to encourage them back into the shape you want. All righty. I think I'm about done with today. I didn't show the UFOs again. Well, let me show you something. This is how many UFOs I still have to show you. They're right here. That entire basket of them. So I hate to do this to you, but we're going to have to do them next week. Next week, I promise, I'll start with the UFOs first because I can't wait to see what's in that basket. I just pull them and shove them in there and we can pull them out together and see what we've got. But, all right, well, Jack, since we have another minute or two, fishes like that. Oh, yes. Wouldn't that be cool? And then you could kind of make them move. And can you imagine if you did a really big tail with some of them? Boy, we got Nadine's mind cooking now. This is what I love. This is what I love because when we get together and we exchange ideas and you get to see something you didn't already know, and then you can run with it and come back and teach us. Because I learned as much from y'all. I tell you what, sometimes, oh, look at little Maisie. Hi, Maisie. But let me see if she'll come to me. Come here, Maisie. Come here, silly. Oh, you're being silly. Oh, you're being silly. She wants me to come up and sit on the couch because she wants to just cuddle up real close to me. But I want to just tell you one thing because this is really important. I did it at the end of the last show in a hurry like I'm doing now. But it's take I want to go over what I have learned in my life from taking classes. And some of these I've learned from my own mistakes, and some I've learned from watching others' mistakes. But if you're going to take a class, please remember, oh, there's my Maisie. If you're going to take a class, please let the teacher teach it her way. You know, we all love to share and, well, I do this and I do that. And that's fine unless you're taking a class. Understand she's responsible. She's got a certain amount of material she has to cover. And if you are trying to teach or you're distracting her, she cannot teach. And it's her class. If you want to teach, do your own class. So if you wish to do whatever she's teaching a different way, do it quietly without telling anyone. That's not the place. If you're taking class, it's not the place to say, well, I do this and I use this. That just confuses someone who's never done that at all. Okay? All right. You take good care. Sleep well, Nadine, dear heart. Don't criticize the quilts, the way her quilts look. Don't criticize the methods during the class. You may, even if you're at home and you're taking it a virtual class, remember your manners as if you were there in person. Okay? People can hear you, they can see you, and let her be the star. Okay? Let the teacher explain her information. The teachers usually come in and will give you an overview of what you're going to do during that class. This is not the time to ask questions because they have a certain amount of information they have to get across so then they can start the class. And if everybody asks questions, number one, they might be asking questions that she's getting ready to cover, but also don't distract her off of her opening, okay? Because it's hard to teach. I know. I've done teaching. And it's so easy to get all discombobbled and off your game. So please give her that time to do the whole introduction of the class. Later, when you're working on things, please feel free to ask questions because teachers want to hear your questions. So now, let's say it's class time and you forgot to print it out until the night before, and then you ran out of ink, or you ran out of paper, or you failed to get your fabrics chosen. Don't talk about wine or complain about that in the class because that just takes up time from teaching. And I'm sorry you didn't prepare in time, but that's nobody else's problem, or, it's your problem. So don't come if you come physically to a class, don't start bumming stuff off people. It's your responsibility to come fully prepared for that class, virtual or in person. All right. Don't talk about other products. If the teacher uses such fusible, don't say, well, I like this fusible better. That's not the place to do it. She has a reason she's used the particular product she has. And if you didn't bring that kind, then use yours. Just use it quietly. Because remember, there are some people who've never done anything like this. And if you start getting them all distracted, they're all going to be confused. And then everybody runs behind. And the classes, you might think an all-day class is plenty of time. It's not. It's never enough time. So don't interrupt the flow of the class by talking about your technique or your favorite product or whatever. When everybody's done, if you want to do that, that's great. Because we love your enthusiasm. We love your willingness to share. Just don't let it get in the way of what the class is being taught. Okay? Remember, there are people who are deer in the headlights, very overwhelmed and afraid they're not going to be able to keep up with what's being taught. So let's make it a good learning environment for everyone. And I'm going to bring up one that I didn't put on this list, But one of the last in-person classes I took, the last one before the COVID started, the shutdown, there were people who had already done half or more of the quilt before the class. And then they wanted to talk all about what they had done. They wanted to ask the teacher questions about further things that, we were just starting. We followed the rules and we're doing it by the teacher's instruction. And I found it extremely irritating and I found it rude that they had worked ahead and then complained because they did something wrong, or they wanted to know about finishing techniques when we were still trying to listen to how to begin the project. So be careful about that. I don't think it makes you smarter or gets you any brownie points to work ahead of the teacher. So, and just don't confuse classmates, okay? Now, the last one, well, no, almost the last one. Don't criticize the organization that the teacher is teaching for. So if you take a virtual online class and it's run by Acme Quilt Company, don't start criticizing Acme Quilt Company to the teacher. You're putting her in a very awkward position. She doesn't want to bite the hand that feeds her. And any negativity like that doesn't help the class, because a lot of us, like me, maybe I'm naive, but I'm just happy to be there. So let's try to keep it upbeat and don't say anything that can be heard by somebody and hurt their feelings. Then this goes back to the thing I said earlier. Be very quiet and attentive for at least the first hour of any class. Feel free to take notes of what the teacher is saying, but really be quiet and listen. If you didn't get there and don't have your stuff set up, wait to set up until after the teacher gives the first half an hour or so of directions. That's why I try, and I'm getting better because I used to be terrible at being on time, but try to be there a half an hour to 15 minutes before the class starts. So you can have your machine taken out and plugged in, things set up, your tools out, your fabric out, you're ready to go. Then take a deep breath and get ready to have fun, okay? So don't leave the classroom during the first half hour and do not chat. There's time enough to meet your table mate before class or after the teacher is done the intensive part of the instruction giving. And then the very last thing is thank your teacher, because trust me, it's hard work. She's standing up. She's running back and forth between questions and problems. She's dealing with frustration. She's dealing with overexcitement, all of that. Be sure to thank her. And I have learned when I go to my classes out of town, I take a little gift, a little pin cushion, or just a little something. And I take a little gift to just show my appreciation for the hard work she's doing. So if you follow some of those rules, and I bet you can think of many more too, it makes you a better student. It makes a classroom a more loving and happy environment, and it'll help you be so excited when the next class time comes. So I hope that helped. And if you have any other suggestions you'd like to give, please, I'll add to the list. So, all right. I'm hoping you're still there. Everyone got really quiet. So I'm hoping you're still there. And I want to thank you all for coming today. It was a wonderful time. And I love sharing my Sundays with you. And Susan, it was so nice to see my Susan back. I'm worried that y'all might not be there. We'll see. Oops. But thank you, everyone. You were doll babies. Oh, Dolores was there today. I was missing my Dolores. So that's great to know that she's there. All right. I hope you're still there. If I lost you, I apologize. But thank you for joining us. And I'll see some of you on Thursday night for our Art Quilt Landscape Thursday. Y'all are something to see. Y'all are being the most wonderful students you could be. You all get A pluses. And if only I were Oprah, you'd all get a car. So thank you all. You are the best. Thank you and welcome back, Susan. We want to hear every step of your new farm life experience. I remember what it's like, and it was thrilling. So, Dolores, I'm so glad you're back. I was worried when I told you that your raccoon scared the bejesus out of me. I was worried I hurt your feelings, but I was thinking, oh man, you can't get a better compliment than that. That was the most realistic raccoon. So thank you. We love your work. Everybody send me your photos so we can do show and tell. Okay? Well, you are the best. Thank you. So Tuesday, I get my shot in the morning, and then I go see my regular GP. I've got to buy her some flowers because she's the one that said, let's find out why you have that kidney stone. And that saved my life. So it's going to be a great Tuesday in 2 ways. Everybody take good care of yourself. Oh, you got to see your grands. Wonderful, Dolores. Oh, that's so wonderful. So everybody, Alberta's here too from Southern Maryland. I'll be up in Maryland in May. Yay, I can't wait. So everybody take good care of yourself. Take good care of yourself. The name? Oh, for freestanding lace. Thank you, Mary, for sharing that. So, yeah, there's so many wonderful products out there for us all. So have a great week. First week of spring. We're going to have some chilly days, but it's coming. It's getting there. Oh, Dolores, you get to get your first shot next week, too. I will be shot sisters together. Take your Tylenol that way, because you know your arm might be a little sore. But, oh, boy, that's going to be the best feeling in the world, because then you know it's working. So everybody take good care of yourself. Oh, Kathy Klein is here. This is fabulous. I've been missing Kathy Klein. So it is so, as you know, now you can tell, I miss all of you when you're not here. So thank you, everyone. Send me your photos to Our Time to Quilt, Our Time to Quilt at TW, not YW, TWC.com. If you send your photos about your life, photos about your wonderful art you're creating, we will show it on air because we love our show and tell. We love our show and tell. Violin. Okay, so violin is for freestanding lace. I like that. That'll give you a nice body when you do your creations. All right. Yeah. Oh, I understand that. And just to tell you too, if you're working on a butterfly on the water soluble and it tears, just cut a little piece and wet the edges and stick it on the back and it will be good to go. So have a great week. Thank you so much. I'll see some of you on Thursday night. You're welcome to come do art quilts with us, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye-bye, everybody. Get those vaccines. Yay. Because, at some point, I'm going to say, meet us at Missouri Star Quilt. I want you there. Take good care. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great week. You are the best. Bye-bye. Oh, yay, Kathy. Way to go, darling. Yay. You inspire me, hon. Yay. Bye-bye. Mwah.